Bridging the Gap podcast with Dr. Jacob Wilson.
All right, welcome everyone. Super excited about our guest today, Res Desi, also known, millions of people know him as Jinder Mahal, all around the world. One of the reasons why I'm super excited is I think pretty much every guy I know as a kid wanted to be a professional wrestler, and pretty much every guy I knew wanted to hold the actually world championship, the heavyweight world championship. I can remember myself, my favorite birthday, I was 9 years old and my parents got me a wrestling ring. And it's just, you want to do it, you just want to, and you, I know, have had a passion for this your whole life, like your vision really, probably since a kid, was to be a wrestler, but you actually made it to the highest level. So I want to get in today into your background, into a lot of your training methods, your mindset, and so we're gonna have a super fun time today. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. No, I'm excited. Yeah, we're gonna cover all these topics. So we can get started. Childhood. So I was born and raised in a one of the wrestling capitals of the world, Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Yeah.
Lots of great wrestlers coming from there. Bret Hart, Owen Hart. Like Bret was like my idol growing up. I had two heroes, Theron Fleury, Calgary Flames.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be a hockey player, and then I had Bret Hart. It was like my other hero. But I went the wrestling
awesome.
path. It was.
And it's in your family too, right? Your uncle.
Yeah, my uncle used to wrestle for Stampede Wrestling, Gamma Singh, so naturally kind of got drawn that way. Just growing up, just being a big fan of, after Bret, then I became a big fan of like Rock and Austin. And even past then, like when I was in high school, I would watch guys like John Cena and Randy Orton, who I've had the pleasure of sharing the ring with, or someone like Undertaker, who I've watched since, I was a child. So yeah, I've just been like a lifelong fan. And I actually even remember like earliest memories, even like watching wrestling, was with my grandpa, who passed away when I was 4 years old. I remember sitting on the couch watching wrestling with him. And actually, like a time that sticks out in my head is 1997 at the Calgary Stampede. They have like a family day where it's like free admission into the Calgary Stampede. It's like a yearly rodeo carnival. There's family day where you get like a pancake breakfast and free admission. And my uncle took me, a sister and my brother. Like my family went, and like from 100 meters away, I seen Bret Hart, Davey Boy Smith, Brian Pillman, like on a stage very far away. And like that was, I seen him from like 100 meters away, and like I couldn't believe it. So that was 1997, and oddly enough, 2017, that was July 1997. 2017, May, so almost 20 years later, I was WWE champion.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and good, like that blows my mind.
That's incredible, but a long
journey.
That's 20 years of like dedication and focus.
So I started training when I was in high school. My coach was Bad News Brown or Bad News Allen. A couple of the local other Stampede wrestlers, one named Jerry Morrow, my uncle Gamma, they helped train me too. But my main trainer was Bad News Allen, Bad News Brown. He was in the WWF. So yeah, just training at a young age, slowly starting to wrestle locally in Calgary, then across Alberta, and then across Canada. By the time I was 18, I would say I was wrestling like every week. So December 26th, in Canada's Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, we wrestled for Stampede Wrestling for the first time, and ever since then, it's been nonstop. Yeah, just on an incline. Got signed to WWE in 2010, came here to Florida when it was Florida Championship Wrestling. Was on SmackDown the year later, got released from WWE actually in 2014. I was away from WWE for 2 years, made it back, and then never been done before. After getting released, coming back, within 10 months I was WWE champion.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of ups and downs, but that's what makes the journey memorable.
It does. Yeah. So you got signed obviously at a really young age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Early 20s.
Yeah, I was 23 when I got signed. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what was that like? Like when the first time you went out there and wrestled, like in front of a large crowd, like you had made it to this high level?
So yeah, it's a great feeling, but I felt like I wasn't ready yet at that time. Like I wasn't quite ready to fill those shoes. I mean, that's like a huge opportunity. But I felt awesome. I mean, it's my lifelong dream to be in WWE, but like, I mean, it's funny because at the time you think you know a lot, but then the more you learn, the more you realize like, okay, I really don't know anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's nerve-wracking, it's exciting, I mean, there's so many emotions with it, but like, I was really proud knowing where I came from. Like, I used to wrestle in front of like, I've even wrestled in front of like 10 people before. I've wrestled on shows where there's more wrestlers like in the locker room than there are people in the crowd, right? Traveling, like driving like 20 hours for not like $10, like paying essentially to gain this experience, which is, you know, invaluable, which is what you got to do when you're starting. I mean, that's you can't, you know, expect to advance if you're not willing to sacrifice. So yeah, a lot of sacrifices. I was very proud, but at the same time, like, I wasn't quite where I needed to be, but I got there eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you're young, you get into wrestling, and obviously like the whole world's kind of coming at you at once.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're large crowds, you know, you're traveling all over the place. From that first phase of wrestling, say 2010 to 2014, that first phase.
Yeah.
What was it like? In other words, like, you know, obviously there's got to be, when you're training, a lot of temptations that might throw you off of your training.
Yeah.
You know, especially first coming in, like the travel, the crowds.
Yeah, all of a sudden, yeah, exactly. I kind of like fell into those temptations in those years. Like, if you look, like, I see some pictures of me, and it's like almost embarrassing to look at. Like, at one point, I had gotten like really out of shape, which was my fault. And then like your work starts to suffer, and then you start playing the blame game on others and not really reflecting and, you know, seeing like, hey, like, I need to improve myself. Like, this is me. This is not someone else doing this to me. So like, I did fall into those pitfalls and everything, just getting a little bit too soon. Like, I wasn't mentally ready for the responsibility. You know, I was presented this opportunity, and it was my responsibility to rise up to the occasion and take myself, you know, as far as I wanted to take it, because really that opportunity is limitless. But if you don't have the right mindset, you don't have the right people around you. You know, I see this happen a lot of time too. I mean, people in any field, when you're young, you think you know it all, or like, you know, you just, you know, you gotta really work on yourself. Like that arriving at a destination is one thing, but staying at that level is, you gotta work just as hard. And then to take it to the next level, you know, you gotta work even harder, like super hard, harder than anybody. You know, that's how you get to like that elite level.
Right.
So I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like, you think, okay, I'm gonna get to that level, then I'm gonna take my foot off the gas and I'm just gonna coast.
Yeah.
If you take your foot off the gas, the car slows down.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So you go from 2010, 2014, and then WWE releases you in 2014.
Yeah.
Obviously, what was that like mentally?
Yeah, that's very tough, like embarrassing. You know, obviously, to get released, it's not a fun feeling. But during that time, like, I was partying, it was my own fault. So now looking back, that's the best thing that happened to me, because during that time off, I completely stopped drinking. I still haven't drank alcohol since. It's been like over 4, almost 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so like complete lifestyle change. Like, I got super serious into diet, training, and I had a lot of regrets. That's like one of the things that I also felt, like a lot of regrets that, okay, I had this opportunity, I didn't give it 100%. Then I always said, like, okay, if I get a second opportunity, like, I'm gonna give it my all. And I was still young at the time. I was like 28 years old when I got released. So I knew, like, hey, if I work hard, I can still make it back. And like, it's like, even for anybody at any age, it's never too late to start. Like, there's no such thing as, oh, it's too late. Like, starting now is better than never starting. So.
Right.
So I just had to make those steps. I got super serious into training, super serious into dieting, changed my mindset. I started listening to like Eric Thomas and Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, just even like C.T. Fletcher. I would just watch his YouTube videos over and over. I actually got the chance to train with him a couple years ago in California. Super cool dude. Yeah, so just like surrounding myself with like a positive message, believing in myself, not playing the victim card or the blame game, knowing that ultimately like I'm responsible for me. Like
That's huge.
yeah, I can take it as far as I want, or I can, squander this opportunity. So yeah, that was like a big change, yeah.
And so you had this transition. Obviously, you're wrestling independently in between that time.
Yep.
You had this transition. You changed yourself.
Yeah.
And then you got the call, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I got the call. So this is like, I don't think this is random. So even before I got the call, about 2 months before I got the call, I had already stopped drinking and like started dieting and training. 2 months later, I got the call. Hey, you want to come back to WWE? Yes, I do. So even when I was so out of shape, like before I made that change. So even when I came back, like I wasn't like in like super good shape, but I had already started the process.
Yeah.
So like when I got back, like I even, turned it up even more, and then within 10 months I was WWE champion. Like
Wow.
A couple things happened. I was #1 contender. There was an opportunity. One of the wrestlers got hurt. They needed someone to come into the pay-per-view, and I had just like gained so much momentum during that time. Just my mindset was like super sharp. Everything, I was just firing on all cylinders: diet, exercise, rest, like no distractions, just laser focused. And then got the chance to win the WWE Championship, held it for 6 months. Captured the United States Championship at a WrestleMania. Yeah, it's just been awesome. Like headlined so many arenas worldwide, so many tours. I had a big match with Triple H in India. That was like a huge historic moment. And then got hurt. But through the injury, like I still had the same mindset.
Right.
And then I went back for actually like a month, and then I had to have another surgery. So. But it's okay, because those setbacks just set me up for for even stronger comeback. Like every time I have a setback, I come back with a stronger mindset.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Definitely now it doesn't seem random like this transition period.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's great testimonial. And so I think one of the things is with your sport is that like and we were talking about this earlier, but I know with powerlifting it's how much you lift.
Yeah.
You don't have to look good, but with your sport you have to have an extreme amount of skill.
Yeah.
But you also have to present yourself with a pretty badass physique, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people have commented and said that when you came back, I know that obviously a lot of people were like, wow,
Yeah.
but a lot of people commented at the time you were the best, you came in as the best conditioned athlete in WWE. A lot of people said that.
Yeah.
And you certainly had a tremendous physique, you have a tremendous physique. So that then bodybuilding actually itself does play a role, in your sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as you mentioned, like there's so many things. You got to have extreme conditioning, stamina, skill, and even beyond that, like you're wrestling in front of millions of people at TV, so you got to have like confidence. You got to have a swagger about you. You got to have character. You want to present yourself as an athlete, so having a nice physique. But not only that, you got to go year round, like 150 to something like that, 175 matches a year. You're on the road like 200 plus days a year round, maintaining that mindset, maintaining that condition, maintaining that diet. It is really a big challenge, but you got to like dedicate yourself like 100%. That's why it takes so much commitment and so much effort to be at that level for a sustained amount of period. Everybody can, not everybody, but a lot of people can get to that level, but then maintaining it, as I suffered from before, I had that problem where I got to the level, but I couldn't maintain it. So now, just maintaining it, constantly working on myself, constantly improving myself, constantly learning, doing research. Like I'm on YouTube, or I'm reading articles, new different ways to train, new ways to recover, experimenting. I might try new therapies, new workouts, new diets. I'm always open for something new, trying something new. And that's why I think is one of the things that's given me longevity, and hopefully will continue to give me longevity.
For sure. So there's a lot of people watching and stuff who like, how can I become Jinder Mahal? What do I need to do to train like that, diet like that? So I kind of want to get into that. When let's say, talk about your comeback when you came back in 2016, and even how you train now, because people don't realize how often you train and how
Yeah.
frequently you train and how hard you train.
Yeah.
What is that when you feel your peak
Yeah.
peak training? How many times a day might you even train in a given day?
Yeah, so for that period of time where I had like that really, really big change, I would wake up, whatever hotel I was at, or I had an elliptical at home, and I would do steady state cardio. I know there's varying opinions about it, but like for the fat loss phase, I felt it was really good.
Sure.
Just like for me, I felt like when I would wake up and do cardio, it would kind of turn on my metabolism for the day. So I would just, even 20 minutes, maximum 30. Like I wouldn't do HIIT cardio fasted in the morning. I would just do steady state cardio, 30 minutes. I would have breakfast if I'm on the road. Like I eat super, super simple, nothing extraordinary, like complicated. So if I'm on the road, like an easy, lazy breakfast, 2 scoops of protein powder and a packet of oats. Just dry oats, shake it up, water, down. Then I go work out. Maybe a 2-hour workout. I might have a banana in the car before, like on the way to the gym. After the workout, another banana or oats, protein shake again. And one of the things that I did when I went back in 2016, I started taking my meals with me. So I have a company, Nutrition Solutions, they make all my meals. I have a Yeti cooler bag. I load up the meal. I freeze them, load them up, Yeti cooler. And you can check food as much as you want. You can even take food with you on, like, people don't know this. You can take a container of food with you as long as it's not liquid, or like rice and chicken, you can take it with you. It's not a problem. People think you can't take, food, something on a plane. You can take 1 or 2 meals with you on the plane. But anyway, I have my meals with me for the week, checked, frozen. I always get a hotel room with a fridge. I get the front desk to freeze the ice packs. Next morning, I repeat the process, put them all in the cooler, put the ice pack. But so gym, and then we would perform every night. I would have a match. So that's kind of like HIIT cardio.
There you go.
Yeah, so if you think about it, cardio in the morning, workout in the day, then match at night, it's almost like three workouts in a, 3 workouts. And then, but the difficult thing is the travel in between. Every day we're in a new city, so it's either flight or a long drive. And having my meals with me keeps me from distractions, like late at night, the golden arches of the McDonald's, they look very tempting.
Right. You
stop at Love's truck stop, and they got an Arby's connected to it.
Yeah.
So if you have your food with you, like, preparation is key. If you fail to prepare, you're not going to succeed. Nobody gets ahead in life in any field, anything that it is, without proper preparation. You don't just stumble into success. So that's one of the things that I learned, just constantly preparing. So now what I do is my training is a little bit different. I'm training with my coach right now. I'm training with AJ Sims, cement dump. He has me doing fasted cardio again, but it's on the Airdyne bike. And then I eat, come to rehab, eat again, train, eat again, rest, sleep, boom, and we do it again. But I keep it super simple, like with my food. Actually, right now, AJ has me on, my carbohydrates are cream of rice, grits, and white rice, jasmine rice. And meats, a lot of chicken breast, a lot of lean meats. We do bison, we do egg whites, we do whole eggs, two whole eggs, 2 spinach, steaks on my low carb day. So right now I'm doing low, what's it called?
Carb cycling?
Carb cycling, yeah. So I have a high day, medium day, low day. On the high carb days, we keep the fats low. On the low day, we increase the fats a little bit. So yeah, I feel like it's a good diet method for me, but anything works as long as you plan. Anything works. Keto works. You know what I mean? It's just, compliance is a science. I stole that from Stan Efferding, who has a vertical diet, which I've experimented, and I've got like super strong off it too. Basically just eating red meat and white rice. It's very, very good, easy on the digestive system, focuses on the micronutrients. So compliance is a science. Stole it, but shout out to Stan Efferding. That's his saying, but compliance is a science. Whatever you're doing, whatever plan you're following, if you comply to that plan, you will see the results. But if you take shortcuts and you think, oh, I'm just going to take this cheat meal here or whatnot, that might throw you off on your on your caloric deficit and whatnot, and put you back for the next couple of days or whatnot. Next thing you know, you're playing catch up. But if you stay on top of things, prepare, you're going to be successful.
That's awesome. And I think one of the things I'm hearing too is a lot of people a lot of old school people who are in a bodybuilding, you read it in magazines, you read the magazines, and they train everything once a week, or
Yeah.
you know, and they might train 5 times a week, you know, or a body part a day.
Yeah.
But and you hear the stigma, oh, if you train multiple times a day, you're gonna overtrain.
Yeah.
But yet you're making gains, and in fact, the best gains you've ever made in your life are when you're training multiple times a day, which says actually when you are focused and your diet is right and your mind is right, that you can actually get so much more out of a single day, as opposed to someone else who might be spreading their training out. You might get, you know, as much training as someone else in a week that they get in a month or 2 months. But you're making gains, which just shows you can push yourself to the extreme level and not overtrain if you're doing things right.
Yeah, so I've heard this somewhere too, or I've read it before, that there's no such thing as overtraining, there's under-recovered. So as long as your recovery is good and your nutrition is good, your quality of sleep is good. So I do a lot of recovery stuff, like weekly massages. I have another therapist who does like ART type stuff on me. I use ice baths. Stretching is very important. Foam roll, I foam roll all day long. Like I'm on the foam roll like a couple times a day. Love foam rolling. A good night's sleep, very, very important.
How much do you aim to sleep?
At least minimum 8 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Even most nights I get 9 hours. Yeah, nine is good. Weekends I might even sleep even more. Afternoon naps, I don't mind napping.
That's good.
Yeah, in between workouts, like in between rehab and my workout, I might take a quick half an hour nap just on the couch or something. So
a lot of times people have athletes or people have hard time sleeping. Do you have any tips for like getting a good night's sleep?
Yeah, shut off your phone, you know, get away from the distractions. That's the main thing is like the blue lights and everything like that from the cell phone or the television going. People sleep with the TV on. You know, just getting good quality window coverings, blinds, curtains and everything, shutting off the cell phone, putting it away, meditating, good way to help you sleep. Actually a supplement, magnesium, not really a supplement, natural mineral. You know, you can experiment with magnesium. I feel magnesium works really good. I take it before bed.
Same.
I take it before my workouts too. It's changed the game. So actually speaking of magnesium, how I got into magnesium, I would, like during that time I was training really hard in wrestling, I would cramp. And there's a strength coach, he's actually Triple H's strength coach in New Jersey, Joe DeFranco. He came to a show and I told him, I was like, man, I'm cramping a lot in my matches. He's like, you need magnesium. So since then I started taking magnesium, and I actually really started experimenting with salt too. Salt is
great.
A game changer in performance. I don't know why salt has this stigma, or people think salt's bad for you. Like I would even heard this from wrestlers, like oh no, salt before wrestling, you hold water, this and that. That's not true. That's only true if you're salt deficient and all of a sudden you eat salt. Maybe your body's gonna, you know, compensate for. If you regularly salt, if you're an athlete who sweats a lot and you work hard, you need salt. Salt will change your life. Like salt will even help you sleep. It's such a game changer. Sometimes I even just put salt in my pre-workout.
That's great.
If I know I'm gonna have a really intense workout and I'm gonna sweat, but the main thing is like make sure you're healthy. You don't have high blood pressure. If you're healthy, you sweat, you train. You need salt. You need magnesium. Also potassium. Bananas, potatoes, spinach. So yeah, everything just like, not a lot of people focus on the macronutrients, protein, fat, carbohydrates, but you need to focus on the micronutrients also. Magnesium, potassium, sodium. I take all kinds of vitamins, multivitamins. Vitamin D is also very important. Vitamin D along with the magnesium. Just a lot of vitamins. Just keeping up on my vitamin routine. I take AM vitamins and first thing in the morning with my first meal. And then right before bed, with my last meal too, I take a handful of vitamins, of everything from multivitamin to CoQ10, vitamin K, fish oils. Fish oils is really good too. I feel like for my joints. Yeah, so.
For sure. Well, hey, and you focus a lot on your health for the longevity, and actually, obviously, we brought you in today to do your whole ASPE score.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the first two tests we did, one was your body composition, and then the second thing was your cardiovascular health.
Yeah.
And then you scored like 100% on your cardiovascular health.
Oh, that's
you were
cool.
great. No,
Yeah.
And that's, I think, one thing to understand is, like, you were talking about this earlier, but like for your health and longevity, it's so important for wrestling and having a long career. And here, like, your health parameters were so, like, not only you have a great physique, but your health parameters were so high.
That's more important than
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's huge. I think that's really huge.
Yeah, actually another thing too, I mean that's good, that is good, but because I'm so active and I train a lot, I do eat a lot of red meat also, steak, and I'm a big fan of bison.
Yeah.
So I know some people shy away from red meat, but I think if you're healthy, you're an athlete and you train hard, I think red meat, the micronutrients are
100%.
really good. I could be, based on my experience, everybody's genetics are different, everybody's health is different, but for me, I feel really good off red meat.
Oh, I think you're 100% right. And one of the things I heard you say, I think the reason with studies with red meat and stuff, with old school stuff in the 50s studies that gets carried out today, is because people have fatty meat, like a burger with bun, French fries,
soda. I think the sugars are way more damaging than red meat ever is. Yeah,
red meat's great for you. If
you get a nice
context.
lean cut,
exactly.
Bison, grass-fed steak, or even regular steak, lean cuts.
Yeah.
Get like a sirloin or something. There's. I feel really strong.
I think it's great for you. I think it's super healthy for you.
Yeah, even whole eggs. I do eat egg whites, but I also put in a couple whole eggs too. I think for the complete fats and for the complete protein, I believe you need full eggs in your diet too. Lots of greens, spinach. I don't really do broccoli that much. It causes a little bit stomach irritation.
It does for a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, I eat asparagus. Asparagus is good for me personally. Mostly spinach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you made a good point earlier with your carbohydrate cycling, is that you taper your fats and your carbs, disproportionately. So if your fats are higher, your carbs are lower, and vice versa. And that's the thing. I think it's about your metabolic environment. So if you're having something fatty, your carbs are lower on the low carb days. So all of that, I think, promotes health, and I think it showed in your tests.
Yeah. But all that is just being very deliberate and planning everything. But if I don't have any plans and I just wake up and on the way to rehab, I go to Dunkin' Donuts. After here, okay, I'm going to eat healthy, but I'm going to get Chipotle and get avocado and cheese and all the sauces and everything. I'm not going to get the same results. So planning is like the most important thing. Yeah, being deliberate, having good people around you, good advice, listening to good podcasts, getting good information, even and experimenting, because what works on somebody is not going to necessarily work on you. So just running through experiments, see how you feel. Again, people have different reactions to food. Some might give you inflammation. Some people are lactose intolerant or whatnot. Some, like I've even heard people eat chicken breast and have inflammation problems or whatnot. So everybody is different. It's just finding what works for you.
Right.
Yeah, sticking to it. Again, sticking to it is the main thing. Just like once in a while, once a week, reward yourself, but within limits. Next day, back at it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you developed a great physique, and you've sustained that. So, what's for the people who are like, oh, I really want to know what your training split is?
Yeah.
For as far as your muscles and everything like that, what does your training split look like throughout a week?
Yeah, so I've been with the same strength coach for a couple of years now. His name's Rob McIntyre. It's very unique being a wrestler because I have to perform like an athlete, but I also have to have a good physique. I want to have an impressive physique, almost like a bodybuilder too. So my split right now, I'm also dealing with a knee injury. So every day I come Monday to Friday, I do leg rehab. So all my leg stuff gets done here. We have like a push day, a pull day, a plyometrics, jumping day, agility day. Then we recover on Thursday. Then Friday we hit it hard with like heavy squats and deadlifts. So that basically covers my legs.
So you're hitting your legs right now with rehab or normal training like 5 times?
Yeah, five times. Yeah. So a lot of people say like overtraining. My legs are they're growing and getting more muscular and everything. So again, like overtraining. I don't think there's overtraining. There's under recovering.
Yep.
Because the rest of my day is devoted towards recovery. I have Normatec at home. I ice at home, and I do everything at home that I should be. I got a Mark Pro Stim.
Oh.
I just watch TV, and it's constantly just pumping, fluid.
Wow.
So, but for upper body split right now, I'm on 4 days. It's kind of almost like a bodybuilder split, but I do mix stuff like, for example, on a chest day, I'm also gonna do rear delts. Like I'm gonna do either face pulls or I'm gonna do banded rear delt type stuff. Because I feel like if you just do chest, you're gonna end up with some shoulder, internal rotation and tight pecs. So it's very important to like balance a little bit. Maybe one, like on a chest day, you can also do like one back exercise, maybe do like a row, just something like that. Just mixing it up so that way I'm not just isolating one body part. Because when I do these compound movements too, also I'll do, I actually haven't been doing cleans from the ground. I've been doing hang cleans or like hang clean high pull. So that trains my body to work together. So it's not just like one isolated movement on like on a machine. It makes me more athletic where I'm kind of explosive and using all my muscles together. But then on the end of the workouts, just to like get like a good pump, then I might do like a concentration curl or something like that. So yeah, just varying. And I use implements like chains, bands. The other day I was curling and I was using the fat grips.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so just constantly changing variables a little bit, just adaptation. If you stress your body, you will adapt.
Do you change it up almost every week?
Yeah, every workout is different. Yeah, my strength coach is really good. Even if it's just like the slightest thing, like one week bench press, the next week we're gonna do like a pause at the bottom, explode up, pause at the bottom, explode up, or we might throw on some bands at the bottom one week. Next week we're gonna throw some bands at the top, reverse bands. So yeah, just constantly changing, and then we'll have periods where we build strength. We go into a little bit lower reps, higher weight. Then we'll do a little bit of a deload. Then I'll do get my conditioning back up. We'll do higher reps, shorter breaks, lighter weights. So just like
so you vary
we
your
program
reps.
for year round. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So talk about that repetition range, like when you're doing like your heavy workouts versus like your higher rep days. What are those rep schemes look like?
So the rep schemes, like on a lower rep day, 6 to 8, but also sometimes even like we will hit a double or a triple.
Okay.
Long break in between. So so when I do these type of workouts, I'm usually not like on a cutting diet.
Okay.
Because it's very hard for me to be on a caloric deficit and trying to push a lot of weight. Like one of the main things that goes when I diet down is my bench. Like I'll instantly lose 30 pounds off my bench.
Right.
Mass moves mass. So if you lose mass, you don't move as much mass. But when I'm cutting down, then we do lower weight, higher reps, shorter breaks. We might do a lot of supersets. So yeah, just constantly varying. Then comes the strength building block. I'm gonna up the food a little bit, or up the carbohydrates before workout, up the fats. I might eat like a cup of oats with some peanut butter and protein powder. Mix it all together, and that'll be my pre-workout meal for like a big lift day. Salt,
Yeah.
It's very important. Yeah. So yes, 6 to 8 on the lower rep days. We go like 15 to 20. I've even done some sets. I do sets where it's like 1 minute on, just however many sets. You don't count number of reps. We just count minutes straight. I think that's really good for wrestling too, because for endurance wise, like on a lat pull down, I'll just do a super lightweight, but I'll do 1 minute straight, rest 1 minute, 1 minute on, rest. I think that's really good. And sometimes what I do is in between sets, I'll get on the Airdyne bike. I have one of those Rogue Echo bikes at home. Really quick, just keep the heart rate up, boom, right into the next lift. But the lift will be light. Yeah, I've done all kinds of stuff. And also when I'm wrestling more, it depends on how my body's feeling, because I might have an injury or something that I gotta work around. Even sometimes like you hurt your finger, I can't grip a bar. Now I gotta do something to alter the workout, or still get a good workout in.
That's right. That's great. And you have to maintain that even on the road. Like how do you do that? Like you're traveling everywhere. Sometimes you might even not know where you're at because you're traveling so much.
Yeah. So I have kind of hard drived in my brain, like every city we go to where the gym is.
Smart.
So like, yeah, I know in actually even like the boys will ask me, like even now I'm injured, I'll get like a text before pre-COVID, hey, we're in this city, what's the gym here?
Nice.
I'll tell them this is just gym. So I know whatever the good gyms are in every city, or worst case scenario, a lot of the cities have an LA Fitness. I have an LA Fitness pass. I can go to any one of those because those are pretty much standard. Sure. I can get it in. Even if I'm in like an absolute crunch, if I'm even in the hotel gym, if I have 2 dumbbells, I can do any body part. I just high reps. I'll just do hour straight shoulders, some lateral raises, shoulder press, front raises. You can get it a good workout with even just a set of dumbbells.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. So obviously it's great. Mentally, it has to be to be as mentally strong as you have to be. Like, well, first off, what's the most wrestling matches you've ever done in a year?
Probably 175.
So wrestling 175 matches. You're training a couple times a day.
Yeah.
How many states might you travel in a year?
All of them, and international.
All of them international.
Yeah, a lot of international.
What are some of the
all over Europe, Japan, Australia, Saudi Arabia, South America, Guatemala. You might be in Chile, everywhere across the world. Egypt, South Africa. There's everywhere.
So like you're having to maintain your focus through all this time. So obviously the mental game.
Yeah.
Is. Some people would say it's almost everything, in a case like this. So how do you condition your mind to be so strong throughout all the trials and tribulations, throughout the travel, throughout the wrestling matches, throughout the crazy crowd, and you keep being, because your discipline's outstanding.
Yeah.
You said you haven't had a drink in years.
Yeah.
How do you do that mentally?
So there's 2 things. The first thing, when discipline fades, you always go back to your habits. So if you have good habits, you instill good habits, you're just going to revert to good things. Like, it's my habit. Wake up, do cardio, eat healthy, boom, boom, boom. I don't have to think about it. That's just my default. So if you set your default to a level where it's going to get you ahead in life, even when you're not super motivated, you revert back to just whatever is habit, you're still killing it.
Gotcha.
Second thing is, I do a lot of like motivational books, podcasts, YouTube videos. That's like one of those things that you constantly have to work on. I haven't met and this was all new to me, like within the last 5 years. Like, I haven't met a super successful person who doesn't work on their mindset. That's one thing. Like, all common super successful CEOs, athletes, everything they all share, they work on their brain just as hard as they work on their body. So like on an airplane, I might just listen to a podcast. I get super inspired by people's stories, like their trials and tribulations. Like, I'll read someone's biography, I'll read like a wrestler's biography or something, and I'll just get super inspired. Just finding inspiration in whatever way you can. I think books are awesome. Like, you can get someone's life experience, their whole life experience, and like you can read it in a couple days, right? Like, how awesome is that? Podcasts, great tool to use. Like, this is all new. Like, within the past couple of years, podcasts have been super game changer. Yeah, you can learn so much information about every topic. There's podcasts about everything, and then just having positive people around you, just cutting out the negative people. Like, I feel like people who are negative, they just drain energy out of me. They do. It's like, I really feel it too. Like, I'm a big energy person. If I feel like negative energy, I just kind of like put it to I've had to like not cut off people, but distance myself from people a lot. Like, like, you know what? Like, I still care about you, but I need to care about you from a distance, because I need to make myself a priority, my mental health a priority. Because if you start, if you have too many people that are draining you, it starts to affect you, and it brings you down to, their level, where now you're complaining about everything. And that's just like another thing that I learned. Like, people's automatic default is just complaining, blaming.
It is.
Yeah. Or if you see someone who's successful, you say they're lucky. Why is this person lucky? Why does he have that and I don't? Yeah. But you don't see that, this person is doing things that you are not doing. They're doing the extra. they're doing the self-help. They're working out when you're watching TV. They're dieting while you're eating pizza. Or, you know what I mean? Like they're stepping out of their comfort zone. If you just stay in your comfort zone, you're not going to grow. Whatever level you're at. Like if you wanted to, even if you're me, like, okay, I was WWE champion and whatnot. Like, yeah, I can just rest. Like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. I've accomplished so much. But like, I have such bigger goals that I gotta step out of my comfort zone. But now my comfort zone is set so high. Like my comfort zone is training 2-3 times a day. Like I feel comfortable doing that. Like if I'm not doing that, I feel uncomfortable. Oh, wow. It's like an off day, right? So it's just setting yourself up to where your comfort zone is like super productive. But step out of that comfort zone, because you can't grow in the comfort zone. If there's comfort, there's no growth.
That's great. That's a really great point. Those are great points. So one of the things is, having seen a lot of athletes throughout my life, I've seen a lot of people make it to the pros, and like you said, sustaining it's super important. Yeah. But obviously, wrestling is and has always been huge for you. But I also know that you also have a business mindset, and you're a businessman as well. Yeah. And a lot of people in athletics neglect that. Yeah. But like for longevity in life in general, it's important to be business minded. So, what's some advice that you can give people watching from a business standpoint? Because I'm not sure how many people realize that you're a businessman. You've had success. Yeah. Just constantly learning. Find what drives you. Find what your passions are. Like I meet a lot of people who just like don't know what they want to do in life. Like what's that one thing you would do if money wasn't an issue? Like you need to find that thing and then like pursue it. So yeah, just business mind. I've just always been into business when I was a kid. I've always been fascinated by real estate. I've done a couple of house flips too, and just learning so much from them. Like I do a lot of stocks too, and all self-learn, just watching YouTube videos, making mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Step out of your comfort zone and find out what your passions are, and just follow them. I think that pretty much is my best advice for that. That's awesome. Yeah, just grow. Find mentors. Find people who know more than you. Because if you don't surround yourself around people who are better than you, you're not going to get better. If you just surround yourself around people that you're the top dog, right? How can you expect to be motivated or to learn things from the people, right? Isn't it? I've heard like you're basically like the closest 5 people to you too. You're like you almost become like them. You do. Yeah. So surround yourself around better people than you, people that are more successful than you, people who know about different things, other than you. And you're going to be forced to learn because your conversations will change. That's right. Yeah. When your conversations change, you learn more, and then like you're thinking about it on your off time. Okay, I want to learn about this, and then like I find myself just on like a YouTube wormhole learning about cryptocurrency at 2 a.m. Yeah. But it's stuff that all interests me, but I think having a business mindset is super important because I know wrestling's not gonna be forever. Someday I have to find something else that I'm passionate about, and I got to start educating myself and preparing myself now, rather than waiting and then having that time where I'm exploring then. So exactly. Yeah. And even people who are in business, like that's their pure life. What they keep doing the same things, that's not going to be forever because the market changes. Exactly. So that's a really good point. And I think people watching this is just like understanding that from a mentor standpoint, that like, hey, you are exploring all these other things, that you are, successful in business, you're successful in wrestling, and you're constantly learning and growing your mind and your body.
Plus, everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. It's up to us how we choose to use them. Yep. We can use them just watching mindless television, or we can grow our mind and find out things we're passionate about and learn about them. Exactly. I think it was just using time wisely, and I'm just like very entertained by learning things. Yeah. Right? Like when it comes down to it, I'm like, I don't know, I just like want to learn. The more you learn, the more you realize there's so much more to learn. That's awesome. Yeah, it's like a journey. It's just like wrestling. Like there's, it's been a journey. Like the things that I look back that like I've had like the most fun in my career is times that like I was on the come up, where I like was chasing something. Like those are like the best times in my life, when I had like nothing to lose, when everything to gain. And that's like the best times. Those are the best times. Yeah.
So last thing we did, you came in today. You did your ASPE score. You did some amazing things. Like it was a pretty intensive, testing session. You did, and you started off. You did your body composition.
Yeah.
And actually, I think we'll show that scan up on here right now. Like, but if you look like in fact, we'll put it up on the screen. But your bone density was like 2.5 times greater than a normal human being. You know what I mean? Which is so your bones are basically like, you could call you like a man of steel based on our testing, which is pretty impressive, right? So, I mean, literally, here's the population, here's you.
Yeah.
You guys can see it on the graph.
Yeah.
I guess it's just from like all the years of extreme training. But you talked about earlier today. Talk about that.
I think two things. So, like when I was a teenager, I would drink a gallon of milk a day.
Gallon of milk a day.
I don't know how healthy it is, but I did get a lot of calcium. I just love milk. Like I was only drinking it because I really enjoy drinking it. I would just drink it straight out of the gallon.
Do you still do that?
No, I don't. I haven't drank milk in a long time, but I take calcium supplements. No, I stopped drinking the milk because it's a lot of calories. But like if I was a teenager, I was growing. So, and not only that, the second thing is just putting force on my body, constantly training. I think that's one of the most important things too. Like if someone's getting older and they just completely stop exercising, their bones are gonna get weak and brittle. But if you look at an older person who stays active, stays fit, keeps stress on their body, a reasonable amount, I think they're gonna have strong bones because your body adapts to what your environment is. If your environment, you're gonna put stress on your body, cardiovascular, bones, joints, muscular, you're gonna, if not improve, you're gonna stay in shape.
Right.
But I think it's just like anything. If you stop doing something, you lose that skill. So I think just putting stress on my body, working out constantly, has kept my bones strong.
Well, it's true. I mean, but I think everyone needs to really understand this too. When we talk about all this stuff, it's great, but to quantify, you're absolutely right. Your body is a reflection of the stress you put on it. Yeah. So the fact that your bone density is 2.5 times like a normal individual, you can't comprehend. It's hard.
Maybe genetics.
Could
be genetic. I know genetics play a big part.
But it's definitely hard work.
Yeah.
And
stress,
dedication and stress.
Calcium.
Yeah.
Growing up.
That's a lot of stress.
And genetics, I think, all play a part. Yeah.
All play a part in that as well. Yeah. So, and then obviously, like we did your strength measures, and your strength was outstanding. But interesting enough, your strength was really high, and this is coming out of a rehab.
Yeah.
You still we're pulling a lot of weight on our force platform.
Yeah.
But one thing I kind of noticed, and for people who are athletes who are watching this who are trying to gain strength, because obviously in wrestling, you might have to catch someone who's how many pounds? What's the biggest guy you might have to catch like in a
lift
in a match?
I had body slam Big Show one time. He's mid 400s.
Right. Okay. And one thing I noticed, we bring a lot of athletes here, and we'll see deficits, and we often see deficits in their scans and their hips. So, and again, Fernando's going to put this up on the screen, but if you look at your scan, you kind of look like the Terminator, right? It's the steel, block, pretty much no fat, but huge shoulders, huge traps, which you would expect, but the muscle on your hips is actually, proportionately much larger than a lot of athletes that we see bring in here. And actually, when we bring athletes in here, the deficit we see is in their hips. So it kind of tells me that that's huge. When you're lifting someone who's 400 pounds, most people neglect that area, but you must put a lot of time into building that area.
Yeah, so recently I have, because my glutes were a weak area, but I started doing things. I know a lot of guys don't do them or they feel weird, is the glute bridge. Just on a bench or something with a bar across your hips, glute bridge, lunges, and squats also. I feel like some people squat with their heels raised or they have the big shoes. I squat barefoot. So I think with that, it puts a little bit more of the weight on your glutes. If your heels are raised, I feel like it works more in my quads. And when I squat, I kind of squat with a wider stance. I feel like that puts more on my glutes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I've always had really defined quads, like really strong VMOs, and my posterior chain has always been weaker. So I spent a lot of time working on that with my strength coach, just making it a priority. Because with strong glutes, hamstrings, less back problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had like a really bad back pains earlier, and it all came from weak glutes or shortened hip flexors. I do a good job of stretching my hip flexors. A lot of people just from sitting all day, cars, office job and whatnot have shortened their hip flexors and their psoas and everything. So I do a good job of stretching, getting my psoas worked on by my therapist. I use a pso-right, one of those things you lay on. I love it. Yeah, I just lay on it. Yeah, it hits that area. So loosening up that area, and then strengthening it, I think are very important things. But I've been blown away by the testing today. I'm excited to do it again, especially the DEXA scan. I just started dieting about 3 weeks ago, so I'm going to get even leaner. Yeah, I want to. Yeah.
When you look at the scan, it's going to be hard to do, but
there's a lot of room for improvement in that DEXA scan. But then the performance will suffer. But that's the thing with wrestling. Like it's a trade-off. Are you willing to sacrifice a little bit of performance for a little bit of aesthetic look?
Yeah.
Because I've been wrestling for a long time. Like I can wrestle smart. I know what my strengths are. I'm not gonna try to dive off the top rope. But that's an interesting thing with wrestling. It's entertainment and it's also sports.
Yeah.
So just mixing the two. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm blown away by this facility. I've been here for a couple of weeks. I can't say enough of good things about this facility.
Thank you.
Yeah, just the equipment and everything. It's been a pleasure to train here.
Thank you very much. Yeah, well, with the ASPE score, we kind of created it. I don't know about you, but I do play video, like the wrestling video games.
That score, like the Madden score type thing.
Yeah, so that's what we've kind of created with this, so it's actually pretty cool. But man, I gotta tell you, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Like you're really just top flight, classy individual.
Thank you.
Dedicated individual, and Raj, we just really appreciate your time. And a lot of people are going to learn from this. So, most of the people watching are probably already fans.
Yeah.
But if they're not, where can they see you on your social channels?
Yeah, my Instagram is at Jinder Mahal, JinderMahal, one word. You can follow me there. I post a lot of workout related stuff, what I'm doing, what I'm eating. So yeah, you can get a lot of information from my Instagram, and hopefully within the next couple months I'll be back on WWE TV. So just getting my shape, getting in shape here and finishing off my rehab. Gonna come back stronger than ever.
That's awesome, man. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, appreciate you.